crystal clear, fall mornings, kind of a little cool, but clear, so it's not
fatality.
Of course, we can only speculate, Maria, but you'd imagine if the plane took off from JFK, it
are very rare. Indeed, the odds of dying in a plane crash.
And it is just daunting to see the neighborhood like it is right now.
Too black for them. I don't believe it.
May I have your attention, please? May I have your attention, please? Leave the building by the nearest exit. Do not use the elevators.
Obviously a major malfunction.
American Airlines Flight 587 was a regularly scheduled international passenger flight from John F. Kennedy International Airport, New York City, to Las Americas International Airport, Santo Domingo, Dominican Republic. On November 12, 2001, the Airbus A300 flying the route crashed into the neighborhood of Belle Harbor on the Rockaway Peninsula of Queens, New York City, shortly after takeoff, killing all 251 passengers and 9 crew members aboard, as well as 5 people on the ground. It is the second deadliest aviation accident to have occurred in the United States, behind the crash of American Airlines Flight 191 in 1979.
Look at this. Blew up an engine. Equipment. Need equipment. He blew an engine. Oh. Yeah, right by that guy. American 191 Heavy, you want to come back into what runway? He's not talking to me. Yeah, but he's going to lose the wind. There he goes.
Scared that nobody had realized that this had happened while the plane was taking off.
The crash site is just half a mile from runway 14 right and just 200 feet from a large trailer park. Had the plane not veered left, the crash could have killed residents of that park, which probably occurred to the pilot when he maneuvered the plane.
And the second deadliest aviation incident involving an Airbus A300 after Iran Air Flight 655.
This is an NBC News special report.
A missile from an American ship in the Persian Gulf shot down accidentally an Iran Air passenger plane with 290 people on board. All of those people, passengers and crew, believed to have died in the crash.
The U.S. government deeply regrets this incident.
This was shown on Iranian television tonight. It shows rescue parties, Iranian boats, recovering some of the bodies from the water.
You're ready to answer your action.
On November 12th, 2001, American Airlines Flight 587 taxied to runway 31L behind a Japan Airlines Boeing 747-400, preparing for takeoff. The JAL flight was cleared for takeoff at 9:11:08 a.m. EST. At 9:11:36, the tower controller cautioned Flight 587 about potential wake turbulence from a preceding B747. The flight was in a 2-class seating configuration, with space for 251 passengers, and all seats were filled. 16 business class seats and 235 economy class seats. On board were 9 crew members, including 42-year-old Captain Edward States, who was the pilot monitoring and undertaking radio communications, and 34-year-old First Officer Sten Mullen, who was the pilot flying. At 9:13:28, The A300 was cleared for takeoff and left the runway at 9:14:29, about 1 minute and 40 seconds after the JAL flight had departed. The aircraft climbed to an altitude of 500 feet and then entered a climbing left turn to a heading of 220 degrees. At 9:15, the captain made initial contact with the departure controller, informing him that the airplane was at 1,300 feet and climbing to 5,000 feet. The controller instructed the aircraft to climb to and maintain 13,000 feet. The flight data recorder showed that Flight 587 hit wake turbulence from the JAL flight in front of it at 9:15:36. In response to the turbulence, Mullen moved the rudder from the right to the left, back again, in quick succession from 9:15:52, causing side slip until the lateral force caused composite lugs that attached the vertical stabilizer to fail at 9:15:58. The stabilizer separated from the aircraft and fell into Jamaica Bay. The aircraft pitched downward after the stabilizer loss. As the pilot struggled to control the aircraft, it entered a flat spin. The resulting aerodynamic loads sheared both engines from the aircraft, and they fell several blocks north and east of the main wreckage site, causing minor damage to a gas station and major damage to a home and a boat. The loss of engines cut power to the FDR at 9:16:01, while the cockpit voice recorder, using an emergency bus, stopped at 9:16:14.8 upon impact with the ground. At 9:16:04, the stall warnings sounded on the CVR. The last recorded words were those of Mullen saying, "What the hell are we into? We're stuck in it," at 9:16:07, and States replying, "Get out of it! Get out of it!" The aircraft slammed into the ground at Newport Avenue and Beach 131st Street.
American 587 Heavy, I'm not receiving your transponder. American 587 Heavy, New York. American 587, New York. American 686 Heavy, go ahead.
Yeah, just to let you know, we saw a huge, tremendous amount of black smoke south of Long Island. We're turning to the south of it now. It's on the very southern portion of Long Island.
American 686 Heavy, roger, thank you.
Because the crash occurred just 2 months after the September 11 attacks, which also took place in New York City, several major buildings, including the Empire State Building and the headquarters of the United Nations, were evacuated. Rumors circulated that the plane had been destroyed in a terrorist plot.
Where is Becker?
At this point, there's one unconfirmed report that this could have been a 767, but that again is unconfirmed. Again, we're told that some sort of aircraft did strike homes in the Rockaway Beach area of New York City. And we're also told that air traffic in the area is supposed to be limited at this point, if not shut down. We're still trying to find out whether or not that in fact has taken place. Guys, can you tell me where this sky camera is? I believe we're looking south, correct?
Astro is coming this way.
This is our JFK camera, not too far from the Belt Parkway as we look south. And I believe a bit to the west, the Rockaway Beach area. As you can imagine, the frustration here as we try to dig up some sort of facts for you. There is a major response going on. Some sort of aircraft believed to be, according to one unconfirmed report, a 767.
Bell Harbor section of the Rockaways.
Yeah, we're told now, as you can probably hear, they're off camera. That's the Bell Harbor section of the Rockaways. and it's apparently 9:15 this morning that we're told this went down. It seems to be 129th Street and Newport Avenue, and it appears it could have been, is that confirmed, unconfirmed? Unconfirmed that it's a Boeing 767. Again, unconfirmed that it's an American Airlines flight. Still looking into that to find out exactly the source there.
Service that aircraft. However, if it's coming in, it wouldn't have near the amount of fuel that if it was just departing.
Clearly want them out. Is the possible presumption, and that's what it would be, that that plane was headed into Kennedy Airport. It's
Alabon. Running about. Wouldn't they close the airport down at this point? Any idea? You know what? I don't think Katie's hearing me right now. But again, it appears that JFK Airport is still open, which would be unusual at this point. But we're checking in right now.
This morning we got word of an American Airlines plane en route to New York crashing in Queens, New York. It was a Boeing 767. We do not know how many were on board that flight or whether this was an accident, something of mechanical nature, or terrorist inspired.
Yeah, they have no numbers at this point in time. The only numbers I've gotten are the same ones you've heard, 246 passengers and 9 crew members.
Thanks, Jerry, very much. Appreciate you calling in Jerry Hauer, who's so much help to us during the attack on the trade towers. I'd like to go back to that picture of what we believe is the engine again, please, and bring in our aviation analyst, John Nance, because while it looks like an engine in this particular case, that's what we're told it is. It came in on a piece of videotape from the region itself. And John, as you look at this particular picture, what can you tell us?
Well, basically, what we're seeing there, Peter, is an engine that obviously fell at high speed to the ground. It's I don't know whether of course it's right or left, but it's consistent with the report that we had from Mr. O'Rourke that the engine came off of the aircraft.
I want to introduce you to someone who saw this as it happened. She is quite shaken up. Luigi, what exactly did you see?
What happened was I was making coffee in my kitchen, and all of a sudden I heard this big rumble, like the house was shaking up. And I said, "My God, what happened?" I said, and I heard the plane. It was a plane. I thought it was the Concorde, but then all of a sudden a plane over my house, just like this, and it was on fire. It was on fire. I said, "Oh my God, it's gonna go down." And soon enough, boom, it went down. It was terrible. It was terrible. It was so scary.
Terrible scene, and bear in mind, Laurie, as we have all morning long, the Rockaways is home to so many firefighters and their families. That community suffered a heavy loss during the September 11th tragedies. In fact, they were saying, Celeste Ford told me, the school district there serving the area was heaviest hit. More than 30 children were directly involved or directly affected by 9/11.
Just so frightening.
Yeah, these pictures, as you can see there, the alarms going off. And there's Newport at 1:30, and we were told it went down at 1:29, so this is a full block, I would imagine, speculating there.
You still have Lisa with us, Calagrassi,
All 260 people aboard the plane died in the crash, with around 90% of the victims being of Dominican descent. 5 bystanders on the ground were also killed. One of the victims, Hilda Yolanda Mayall, had previously survived the September 11 attacks, having escaped from the North Tower of the World Trade Center. She was traveling with her mother and children, attempting to escape the trauma of the attacks.
The unthinkable happened today. The World Trade Center, both towers, gone, and we are all witnesses to it, and to some degree we are all victims.
Bill, it was devastating as it unfolded, but only now, hours later, under the harsh lights of rescue vehicles, is the true, horrifying breadth of the terror becoming clear. Before it is over, the casualty figures will be numbing, and few in the city will be untouched by what happened today.
A brutal orgy of terror and grief. We saw a shadow, it looked like a plane. Next thing we know, it was boom, and the floor started shaking. And then we saw debris fall down, and next thing we know, we had to get out of the building. We stuck on the stairs for a while. We finally got down to the lobby. Then when we get to the lobby, it was this big explosion. We saw what we thought was debris, and we realized it was people jumping I found a mask on the floor as I was crawling, and I was lucky to make it out here.
The houses that were hit, we actually talked to a group of young girls who said that was our friend's house. One of the houses hit was our friend's house. We know she was at basketball practice. We know her dad was golfing. We don't know where her mother was. So that's the kind of thing that's going on down here. People are trying to figure out exactly what homes were hit and where those people are, if they were even at home.
Once again, just reminding, since we bring up the amount of people that had come out into the streets and obviously out of their homes trying to get away from the situation there, that the New York City Office of Emergency Management has set up a family center at JFK's Ramada Inn, building number 144, for residents to go to.
New York's bravest and finest. I've seen so much, Jim Dolan, in the last 2 months. And you heard about Laura Rochelle told you that her husband is a firefighter. He was off duty, grabbed his stuff, his bucket gear out of the trunk of his car.
The engine fall down first, and after that the bandit, the truck go all the way in. And here, I see my eyes and I scream, everybody go out.
Just back up, you get to be mobile back.
What is your name? My name is Isaac Nagar. What did you see? I see at the top of the roof, and I see the plane, the engine fall down, and the plane fall, the pitch the left side and make it straight all the way down, and I see the people 100% in. I fall for him maybe like less than an half mile. Too black for there.
So we just want to stress that it's too early to speculate as to whether this is a continuation of September 11th or whether this is an individual incident, as tragic as it is, that may have nothing to do with that at all.
On the afternoon of the crash, the NTSB launched an investigation in search for a probable cause. Over the next 3 months, they conducted 349 interviews and collected and reconstructed pieces of the aircraft. The Airbus A300 took off shortly after a JAL Boeing 747-400 using the same runway. It flew into the larger jet's wake, an area of turbulent air. The first officer attempted to stabilize the aircraft with alternating aggressive rudder inputs. The force of the air flowing against the moving rudder stressed the aircraft's vertical stabilizer and eventually snapped it off entirely, causing the aircraft to lose control and crash.
And then it's that white object right in front of it that seems to be floating in the water that we are speaking about. We are trying to speak with the Coast Guard and the New York City Harbor Unit officials, but we are also, I tell you what, Maddie, I know this is going to be difficult for you. Can we swing around just to show people what's exactly happening down here? They have blocked off part of the road over here, and the crashing is just down that way. The media, of course, is gathering here as well.
What did you see this morning?
Well, I was sitting in my kitchen having a cup of coffee, and the sun caught my eye, and I just looked to the left, and I saw the tail of a plane just aiming for the ground, and I felt an impact, and then I saw smoke, and I started screaming in my kitchen. I just couldn't believe my eyes. Here we go again, Oh, it's just terrible.
You mentioned before how hard Rockaway was hit. This area was hit in the World Trade Center.
Very bad. My neighbor across the street's husband barely got out. And incidentally, the Darios are okay. Oh, they're all right. We're all okay. My family's all worried about us. They can't get through to us, but we're okay.
Are they letting you back in your home now?
Yes, I can go back in my home for now. I don't know if they're going to evacuate us because of the fuel. I haven't heard anything, but it could be a possibility.
Very scary morning for you. Absolutely. Thank you so much, Connie, for your insight.
The NTSB concluded that the enormous stress on the vertical stabilizer was due to the first officer's, quote, unnecessary and excessive, unquote, rudder inputs and not the wake turbulence caused by the 747. The NTSB further stated, quote, If the first officer had stopped making additional inputs, the aircraft would have been stabilized. The crash was witnessed by hundreds of people, 349 of whom gave accounts of what they saw to the NTSB.
I heard a noise. I looked up in the sky. I saw a plane. I saw fire coming out of it.
The engine was coming off the plane. And the engine came right down with a lot of debris following behind it.
The wing had fallen off the plane. Because the wing is mounted, the engine's mounted to the wing. Seconds after that, the plane just nosedived into a row of houses.
Peter Steuben heard a loud, streaking, jet-like noise.
I looked out and looked up over the tree, and something that I never dreamed I would ever see. I saw the engine of a jet falling the last probably 100 feet into the backyard of my neighbor's home.
Some of the wreckage landed on this tanker with the trucker inside.
I heard an explosion, like a bomb hit, the whole place shook.
About half, 52%, reported a fire or explosion before the plane hit the ground. Others stated that they saw a wing detach from the aircraft, when in fact it was the vertical stabilizer